Hello and thank you for joining us on Newsweek, where we highlight some of the biggest stories that made the headlines recently. I am Jacinta Obiuku. Today on Newsweek, federal government signs fresh agreement with the United States for return of $23 million Abacha loot to Nigeria. And ahead of the 2023 general election, Rivers State Governor Nelson Wike becomes the beautiful bride as Peter Obi, Bola Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar seek his support. Later on the show, we will take a look at the 2022 Nigerian Bar Association Convention, including the drama, the issues, and the fallout that ensued. All the details in a moment. Stay with us. Well, the federal government has signed a fresh agreement with the United States for a return of $23 million Abacha loot to Nigeria. We begin with that as the looted by the military head of state, General Sani Abacha. The Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, said the decision to return the fund was as a result of series of negotiations made between Nigeria and the U.S. Department of Justice and UK National Crime Agency. TVC News Celestina Area reports.
In 2006, about $723 million in Abacha loot was returned to Nigeria from Switzerland. Nigeria has in the past recovered several other trenches of Abacha loot, which are proceeds believed to have been diverted from public coffers by the military administration of General Sani Abacha in the 1990s. In 2020, the U.S. and Jersey also agreed to return over $308 million in confiscated funds to Nigeria. Today, the Nigerian government has signed an agreement with the government of the United States of America. The agreement is for the repatriation of over $23 million. President Muhammadu Buhari had mandated the office of the AGF to ensure that all international recoveries are transparently invested and monitored by civil society organizations.
Your Excellency, the Ambassador.
The repatriated funds are to be utilized under Presidential Development Infrastructural Funds, namely Abuja-Kaduna Road, Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and the second Niger Bridge under the supervision of the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority.
That we are here today witnessing another milestone in the funding of these projects, which are indeed critical to the development of Nigeria.
These repatriations bring total amount of funds repatriated in this case by the U.S. to more than $334.7 million. This agreement is also a collaboration that the U.S. government must continue in order to right the wrongs committed under the previous regimes, combined with the $311.7 billion seized and repatriated with the assistance of a bailiwick of Jersey and the government of Nigeria in 2020.
Well, joining me now to discuss this, I have the Executive Director, Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa, Akimbode Oluwafemi. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
So it's been 24 years now, and we're still recovering Abacha loot, bringing the total amount of looted funds recovered to $3.65 billion. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, your figures are quite correct. The first thought is that we still have about $2 billion to go. Abacha clearly looted about $5 billion. It's among the biggest looters of public funds in the world. I think some surveys put him at around number 4. And that means we still need to do much to, beyond the jokes and the bots that is passing around, the memes that Abacha is one of our best great-grandfathers in Nigeria, that when the country is broke, Abacha just releases some little money to us. Yeah, Nigeria is broke. And we quite need this $32 million that is coming in now. So whichever way you look at it, it's some positive development at this point. But we still have a lot to recover from what the man looted from this country.
Okay, can you say the Abacha loot repatriated so far has been efficiently utilized?
So it depends on, we're like in tranche 5 now, they put it almost in tranches. And as you said, I think the first one was about $700 million that was repatriated. And that was a government then that said they were spending some of those monies on schools that were never seen, what Nigerians regularly call audio projects these days. And then we have a tranche that was also now said to be used to fund the conditional cash transfer, where some Nigerians are getting 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira, monthly, and the rest of them. But what I want Nigerians to look at this particular tranche is that, number one, that the United States government, was able to ensure that the principles of the United Nations Convention on Corruption and the Global Alliance on the Repatriation of Politically Exposed People's Assets and Funds are followed. And what are those principles? Issues like transparency, issues like the funds are not being diluted, issues like the funds goes to the direct beneficiaries of the people are the biggest beneficiaries. And why am I saying this? This is coming at a point that there is so much noise about lawyers or a lawyer trying to get about $380 million legal fees for negotiating the Paris Fund. Now, the United States ensured that this fund was negotiated by the Nigerian government officials, and none of this money is being used to, enrich, let's say, some already very rich people who just want to buy some new private jets or the rest of them. This project is clearly going into specific measurable projects. As you have said, Lagos, Ibadan, Abuja, Kaduna, and I think the second Niger Delta Bridge. Another question, however, is that this same government had promised us that Lagos Ibadan Expressway will be completed by December this year. So I just hope we're not doing double budgeting, allocating funds for what has already been allocated. So when you look at it, there seems to be a positive progression from when you cannot even measure. You find it difficult to see what they are spending the money on, to now that, okay, it is left for us as civil society, as Nigerian people, to begin to watch exactly how much is done on those concrete projects that has been listed for the, how to dispense these funds that is coming in at this particular point in time.
Okay, I also want to find out from you, how do you think we can stop the looting of our resources in such a large scale?
So I mentioned the UN Convention on Corruption and the Forum on Asset Recovery and the rest of them. A very key aspect of some of these principles that governments have subscribed to is the strengthening of our institution. The most important thing we need to do is not to allow our people, on unlimited access. This environment that allows them to loot and then to take our funds to somewhere. We need to work so much about it. We need to ensure that we strengthen our anti-corruption agencies, and there should be the political will. What I'm saying is that it is good to have an EFCC. It's also good to have a body language that will encourage the EFCC to do their work. It is good to have ICPC, and then we should be able to give them the infrastructure, all right, to be able to deliver.
All right. Thank you for your contribution so far, but we have to go on a quick break, and Newsweek continues in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back, and it's still Newsweek, where we discuss the biggest stories that made the headlines in the week. Now, Rivers State Governor Nelson Wike has confirmed that he and some of Governor colleagues met with the APC presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and PDP's Atiku Abubakar and Labour Party's Peter Obi in London. Nelson Wike also met with former President Olusegun Obasanjo in the course of his trip. Take a listen.
To the presidential calendar of All Progressive Congress, we met with our leader, former president of Nigeria, Chief Abacha, and the presidential candidate of the Labour Party. We also met with our own presidential candidate, and I can say confirm this is the first time as a team we are meeting with the presidential candidate, so you can see all those rumors and this and that. So for whatever it is worth, like I said, consultation is ongoing. What we're talking about, like I said, is for the interest of Nigeria and Nigerians. It's not any interest parochial, being centered on one person or a group of persons. So we believe that what is going on, it will be for the interest of Nigeria at the end of the day.
I still have with me in the studio Executive Director of Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa, Kimbode Oluwafemi. Let me hear from you. What do you think, what game do you think Nyesom Wike is playing here?
Well, I think 2023 presidential election is very near. Everything you've seen is part of the drama, the melodrama. So you're going to see scenes, sub-scenes, and a lot of them. A clear game is that politicians want to demonstrate their power. They want to demonstrate, what they've got, and that if I'm not on the table, this is what I can also spoil. It's as simple as that. So apart from the parade of private jets that they did when ASU is actually on strike, and dinners at luxury hotels that they did, Wike came to town and then was telling us about very altruistic motives that they were consulting across party lines. That should sound nice to everybody, because we want the Nigerian elites to come together and look at solutions. But beyond that is the fact that he went with about 3 other governors. He was clearly demonstrating, what he has the capacity to do. So you've got to talk to me. And that's why some people have described him as the beautiful bride of Nigerian politics today. Whether it's a moral compass for consultation that actually led to Obasanjo flying to London, it's another debate for another day. So it's a power show.
All right, so Governor Wike also said, described the meeting to be consulting widely with those who mean well for the country. Do you agree?
Well, I just said that it's very good. Politicians are very good in rhetorics, They know how to talk for people to listen to what they want people to hear. So it's very good for him now to suddenly become the person putting people together, to look at Nigerian situation. But one thing, it's very key. He will cease to be a governor from May. He needs to make himself relevant in the polity as we move towards 2023. That, I think, is the most important reason. And all the parties also realize that Wike has enormous support. Please, rewind. Before London, Wike had a lot of programs. He did some projects, quite frankly, good projects. And he called people from the different political divides to come and see what I have done in River States and what I can do. Come and see that my people and my band, band are also behind me. And after that, they then moved to London. So he clearly was able to play the game very well. And that, well, sometimes, as they say, out of a black pot, you can also have a good meal. From what is going on, good consultation, good conversations are going on about how to move the country forward, good for all of us.
Okay, I also want to find out, how much influence do you think Governor Wike has on Nigerian politics, looking at these 3 major political parties and their candidate?
I will not underestimate the power of Nyesom Wike as a politician. He has demonstrated, one, the capacity to be in control of his own territory, River State, number 1. And mind you, when you look at the population, when you look at the resources that are available, and you don't do politics in Nigeria without resources. When you actually look at what Nyesom Wike has spent when PDP was also suffering from some level of inaction, he brought in the resources, as they say, and was able to re-energize the party. He didn't stay outside this country. He was able to grow the party, was able to, face the ruling party headlong and maintain his stand. So, and the fact that he didn't go to London alone. He actually went in company. It's showing you that I also control, a sub-regional or even some regional and national, kind of spread in terms of my political clout. And that's exactly what he's demonstrating.
Interesting. All right. Thank you so much for your contribution.